Jaguars are on the clock now. On the clock now, the Houston Texans. The Cardinals on the clock now. Next up, it's the Seahawks on the clock. On the clock now, it's the Atlanta Falcons.
Bigger, better, petty, don't matter.
On the clock now, the Detroit Lions.
Hey, what's a rapper? I started off that, now I'm better. I get capital. I help my people to get cheddar. I do business. Look here, stay out my business. I'm so
It's now the Indianapolis Colts selection.
I should have been to prison. No more remorse, no cases pinned. I got
Now
the road
we turn
flooded.
to the
So
Eagles.
They're
on the clock.
Man now. Ain't I?
With the next pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock.
I remember when you lame
On the
player.
clock now,
Hey, little
the
player,
Houston
now
Texans.
the same lame player. They call a player mayor. What you
It's
talking?
the Bears now on the clock. The New York Jets are now on the clock. With the next selection, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Get some money, get some money. Get some money.
On the clock now, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Get some money. Get some money. Get some money.
The Detroit Lions now on the clock.
Get some money. It's the paper power
Next
pastor.
up, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
Solo, no, sir,
Next
I am
up,
not a
the
pastor.
Patriots are on the clock.
Any of you people listen, I'm the
The
man now.
Denver Broncos are now on the clock.
Work a plan now. Can't I?
On the
I
clock
remember
now,
when you lame
it's the
player.
Los
Hey,
Angeles
little
Chargers.
player, now the same
On the
lame
clock
player.
now,
They
the
call a
Dallas
player mayor.
Cowboys.
What you talking that's funky.
On the clock now, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Houston Texans are now on the clock.
Get some money.
Now the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. It's the Atlanta Falcons now on the clock.
Get some money.
The Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock.
Get some money.
The New Orleans Saints are now on the clock. Next up, it's the Packers on the clock.
Get some money.
With the next selection, the Carolina Panthers on the clock. With the next selection, it's the Washington Commanders. With the next selection, the New York Jets. The Seattle Seahawks are now on the clock. On the clock now, it's the Tennessee Titans. It's the Buffalo Bills now on the clock. With the next selection, the Lions are on the clock. On the clock now, the Chicago Bears. It's the Philadelphia Eagles now on the clock.
Every block, every hood, every city,
The Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock.
Need a black superhero.
The Chiefs are on the clock. The Chicago Bears are now on the clock. Now on the clock, the Texans.
You need a roll like me. Military mind state
On the clock now, it's the Denver Broncos.
Made a martyr out of Martin, out of Malcolm, out of Mega.
Now on the clock, the Rams.
A hero CEO, I will go Magneto for my people. Give me liberty or
The
death, that
Las
is my
Vegas
credo, not my
Raiders
ego.
now
Dressed
on
as
the
a
clock.
tuxedo, into party alter ego. Killed your leader in gazebo,
The
did
Green
it for
Bay
the people.
Packers are
Wasn't
on the
motivated,
clock.
I did not do it for hatred, but I truly hate the devil. I cannot debate or
On the
fake
clock
it.
now,
I was asked a question
the New
and
England
asked about
Patriots.
God. If I was facing death and I could ask one thing of God, I would ask for every
Next up,
to be free
the
here and
Indianapolis
abroad. And to be
Colts
rightfully
are on the
celebrated
clock.
as a child of God. And to be rightfully celebrated as a child of God.
The New York Jets on the clock now. On the clock now, the Seattle Seahawks. It's the Tennessee Titans now on the clock. It's the Bills now on the clock. The Minnesota Vikings now on the clock. With the next selection, the Ravens are on the clock. The Philadelphia Eagles on the clock now. It's the Dallas Cowboys now on the clock. With the next pick, the Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock. On the clock now, the Houston Texans. The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock. The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock.
I'm talking bulletproof kind of suit, reflect the struggle
The
that they put us
Colts
through.
now on the clock. Now on the clock, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. The Green Bay Packers are now on the clock.
We'll be walking through walls, type of superhero show up when
The
ain't no one to
Panthers
call.
are
Better shield
on
you
the
from them
clock.
shields that been killing
With
us
the
all.
next selection, the Browns are on the clock.
A resolution for a war would even start.
The Kansas City Chiefs now on the clock.
The
Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock now.
Cause mental health ain't a joke. Feed the hungry and
On the clock now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Detroit Lions now on the clock. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. The New England Patriots are now on the clock. The Carolina Panthers now on the clock. The Chargers are up now. They're on the clock. Now on the clock, the Giants. The Chicago Bears are on the clock now. On the clock now, the Houston Texans. The Denver Broncos are on the clock. Next up, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. The Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. On the clock now, it's the Green Bay Packers.
First off, let me talk my... Got a couple things I gotta
It's
cross
the
off
Carolina
my list.
Panthers now on the clock.
It's a bad soundtrack. Read the script.
Now on the clock,
Born in
the
motherland,
Washington
headed straight down to the
Commanders.
south. Tennessee mornings with pops, working 3
Next
jobs.
up,
I knew that
the
struggle to
Jets
get
are
it. That's why
on
I
the
wanted
clock.
to get it. That embedded, you get it. Treat it like a law. And I'ma need commission
Next
for
up,
this hit.
it's the
Last lady
Seahawks
canvas and I
on
paint
the
it over
clock.
with. I don't need a vision board to show you I'm betting
The
on myself.
Tennessee Titans are now on the clock.
Made some choices for a profit.
On the clock
That's my
now,
logic.
the Buffalo Bills.
I'ma take it to the coffin. Just being honest.
It's now the Vikings' turn. On the clock,
Panicking, but I rose to the top. Isn't it funny
it's the
that
Bears now on the clock. It's
It's
now the San Francisco 49ers pick. They're up.
When I had no deposit, closet was looking
The
real
Los
bare.
Angeles
Now I made a
Chargers
deposit, my
now
closet looking
on the
super
clock.
rare. Drove it really far.
The
Crazy
New
how
York
the kids
Giants
talking, wishing
on
a
the
star.
clock.
It's a celebration, I ain't talking Mardi Gras. With a little patience,
The
you be
Miami
getting blue
Dolphins
cards.
now
What
on
you
the
want?
clock.
Made some
The
choices
New
for a
York
profit.
Jets are now on the clock.
That's my logic.
And now on the clock,
I'ma take it
it's
to
the
coffin.
Arizona
Just being
Cardinals.
honest. Never let a manufacture
Next
stack
up,
like that.
the
And if you getting
Titans
toxic,
are
tell
on
the
the
boy
clock.
fall back. If it was back then, I'd be tripping off
Next
that.
up,
Took a little
the
time
Tampa
just to
Bay
get me on
Buccaneers
track.
are on the clock.
I went from snotty to snobby, got it like, immune to everybody. This
The
is Scout
Houston
101.
Texans
Up in
are
the
now
club,
on
going
the
to
clock.
50s like, hated to love it, I just can't get enough. Labels keep
With the
calling me,
next
I said, move
selection,
if you call me, please
the
hold. Don't even
Falcons
bother
are
me. They
on
said,
the
oh, my
clock.
apology. They keep calling and calling. I keep stalling and stalling.
The Cleveland
Rookie of the
Browns
year
are
like
now
a
on the
Rizzo
clock.
Got it.
The Washington Commanders are now on the clock. On the clock now, the Kansas City Chiefs. Next up, it's the Broncos on the clock. It's the Bucs now on the clock. On the clock now, the Detroit Lions. The Bengals now on the clock. It's the New England Patriots now on the clock. Now on the clock, the Texans. The Jaguars are on the clock now. With the next pick, the Raiders are on the clock. The New York Giants are now on the clock. On the clock now, the Chicago Bears. Up next, the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. The San Francisco 49ers are now on the clock. Next up, it's the Packers on the clock. On the clock now, it's the Atlanta Falcons. The Green Bay Packers are on the clock. The Jaguars are on the clock. It's the Cleveland Browns now on the clock. Next up, it's the Dolphins on the clock. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock. It's now the Indianapolis Colts selection. The Los Angeles Rams now on the clock. With the next selection, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. The Las Vegas Raiders now on the clock. Now on the clock, the San Francisco 49ers. Now on the clock, the Los Angeles Chargers. And now on the clock, it's the 49ers.